It's finally here. It's finally time. Little Nightmares 2, I finally got Little Nightmares 2. I am so happy. I'd like to thank all the people who made this possible, like the fuck-ups at Argos who initially said this didn't exist in their records. The order I made a year ago didn't exist in their records. The PlayStation Store, which provided me a digital copy when this one didn't apparently exist. But let's not get too into that. I will just quickly say, fuck Argos, there we go. But it doesn't matter. I've got my game. I've got my game, and I'm so happy. I'm so over the moon with joy. Little Nightmares. You'll notice it's still in its packaging because I played my digital version first. Because, as I said, it wasn't in their records. I didn't think I was going to get one, and then this turned up, so hooray! I paid for it twice. That situation has been dealt with now. It's all sorted. It's all okay now. I'm not angry about it. I'm still a bit angry about it. Shouldn't have happened. Kind of annoyed me. Doesn't matter. Little Nightmares 2. Let's get on with the review. That rhymed. I'm a poet. I didn't even realise I was rubbing those words. I watch too much TV. I've made it no secret that I've been looking forward to Little Nightmares 2 ever since it was announced. The first game was a unique gem in a sea of stagnation, a wonderful horror-themed puzzle platformer with an ambiguous story and haunting monsters that pursued the player relentlessly. As the child 6, you had to navigate a dark and disturbing environment and avoid being grabbed by these imaginative and horrific creatures, all with a wonderful soundtrack to boot. If I had been doing this back in 2017, this might have even made my game of the year. Little Nightmares 2 wastes little time in showing that it has learned and improved upon its original formula. As the new protagonist named Mono, you are still exploring dark and disturbing environments, but some crucial changes to the formula have been made, and basically all for the better. For example, in the first game you needed to physically carry keys. In the first game, if you needed to unlock something, you had to physically carry a key from one location to the other. It was genuinely quite irritating and left you very vulnerable, because you can't jump or climb while you're carrying things. The second game improves upon that by simply letting you put a key away once you find it, so you no longer have to carry it. There are still objects that you have to carry from one location to another, but I do like that you can do that as well as having a key on you. I know it doesn't sound like a big change, but it really is. If you haven't played the first game, play the first game, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. There are also some new tools in which you can use to defend yourself, like sticks, axes, and hammers, and areas based around this new system, like the area where you have to fight off a bunch of puppets, getting the timing just right to smash their bloody heads in. And interestingly, this game has areas built around NPC support. Now, I wasn't on board with the idea of having an NPC companion, because I thought it would ruin the lonely atmosphere, and also I hate having to rely on an AI partner, but the NPC support we get is actually rather good. It takes the form of Six from the previous game, and is a very reliable character to have with you. There are plenty of puzzles that are designed around the two of you working as one, like pulling heavy objects, giving each other boosts to reach higher places, and catching one another before you fall into the abyss. And Six is very accurate and very efficient at what she does. I was never left waiting for an AI partner that wouldn't come. She was always where she needed to be, and you could even use that to your advantage, because if she didn't move in certain areas, you could use that to determine whether or not you should proceed as well. Almost as if she knows something that you don't. The whole game is kind of based around not knowing shit. Little Nightmares always has been. I still don't entirely understand the story of the first game, and I've played through it more times than I've willingly vacuumed my own carpet. Six also helps by distracting some monsters at certain intervals so that you can brain them with a nearby object, or sometimes she even stops things from being able to access areas so that you can, solve the puzzle in the area. There's one scene where these disembodied hands are chasing after you, and she's trying to keep another one off of you by keeping it trapped in a small room, while you attempt to brain the other one with the nearby hammer. But more than mechanically, this system of NPC support is actually part of something much deeper. See, the game is clever enough to get you to rely on the NPC support. As I said, Six is a very reliable support character. And then, the game will separate the two of you from time to time, and you realise that without Six, Mono is kind of a loose end. She and him make a very good team, and when they're forced apart, it really emphasises a feeling of isolation, which makes the sequel, in my opinion, a better horror game than the first one. Actually, I would say it's a better game all around. I am personally bummed not to be playing as Six herself, as I prefer to play as a female protagonist, but that's just me, it's hardly a complaint.
but having played the game and seen the ending, I kind of understand why it had to be that way. I won't spoil anything because something tells me I'll probably recommend this game. The ending is as ambiguous as it was before, only far more interesting, and that reflects the game as a whole. It's just as mental as it was the first time around, but somehow infinitely more interesting. The environments are better and still spooky as hell. The sequel takes place in a post-apocalyptic city for the most part, where some kind of disaster has taken place and had a horrific effect on those who are still dwelling here. Personally, I like to think it's some sort of rapture situation, because occasionally you'll see these clothes just lying wherever someone used to stand, but the person themselves will be gone and there's no sign of them. And maybe that's what this game is hinting at. I don't know, but that's one of my theories. But as I said, this disaster had some sort of horrific effect on the people who are still here. I have a feeling that the people in the city were transformed into monsters by whatever happened, but the game, as I say, doesn't really explain anything, and in general that's just Little Nightmares. It doesn't like to tell you stuff. It leaves you as figuratively in the dark as it does physically.
It leaves you in the dark physically, by the way. There's a lot of dark areas, probably should mention that.
The addition of NPC support, the new character mechanics, and the haunting level design mean that Little Nightmares 2 is the kind of sequel that genuinely deserves to exist. It builds upon the foundation laid by the original game, and in many regards manages to rise above it. I do have nitpicks. Some areas where you're on your own are very trial and error, and the hitting things is inaccurate and annoying at times, but overall, I was left feeling invigorated and chilled, so I highly recommend this game. Already it's my favourite release of 2021. It's my favourite thing of 2021 actually, not just video games, my favourite thing that's come out this year so far. Obviously not saying much yet, we're still in early February, of course something better might happen, but until then, I'm sticking with Little Nightmares 2.
Well, that's humbling. Anyway, thanks for watching my review. I hope you liked it. I hope you will consider buying Little Nightmares 2. It's one of the few games I really recommend. That said, I didn't dislike the Last of the Waifus that I played. It was weirdly amusing, and for 84p, you know, you might as well pick it up and give it a go. It's a weird little game if you're into you know, anime girls, and why wouldn't you be? You know, this meaningful relationship with human beings is it's obviously not going to work for some of us. Anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know when my next review will be. I do plan to do these on Saturday as a rule, but that's only if I've got a game to talk about, and I don't know if I will next week because I don't have money. If that changes, naturally, I'll do a review. You know, if anyone's got any suggestions, if anyone's got anything they'd like to see, by all means leave a comment. You can message me on Facebook, you can stalk me on Twitter or Instagram if you so please. I don't mind what way you want to get in contact. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. What's all the other YouTube stuff they do? I've said like, share and subscribe. Can I do it again? I'll do it again. Like, share and subscribe, please. Pretty please. Little Nightmares 2. This makes me so happy. So happy.